Hey, this is Stemage from Metroid Metal, Steven Universe, and Viking Guitar Live, and you're listening to The Budget Arcade.
Hello gamers and welcome to Budget Arcade, a free-to-play gaming podcast to help you navigate through the growing realm of free-to-play games. I'm Scott.
I'm Jeff. And I'm Elliot.
And welcome to episode number 41. Yeah, Elliot is not here this week. He is sleeping right now, getting his beauty rest because him and Tessa are going to be flying out to Florida.
They're flying to Florida?
Yes.
Okay, I thought they were
Florida.
already here and were flying back.
No. That's next weekend that they're flying
okay.
back. All right, so just to recap, we play a free-to-play game each week, and then we rate and review it. And I will take this part since Elliot is not here.
Please, because I was not prepared.
This week was Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It's a social simulation. It's done by Nintendo as the developer with ND Cube, as well as Nintendo as the publisher. It was released on October 25th, 2017 in Australia, and then the following month it was released worldwide. The game continues a series of social simulations that allow players to interact with a small campsite with various campers performing small tasks, engaging in commerce and decorated living spaces.
So, I don't actually know this. Did you play any of the previous Animal Crossing games?
I played... I think it was the one on GameCube that I played.
That was the
and I
first
think that was
one, wasn't it? That was the original.
Yes. Yeah, that was the original. That's
I think
the only
there in Japan there was
played.
one on N64, but in America the first one was that one, the GameCube one.
Okay, yeah, that's the only one that I played.
Yeah, I pretty much just played the one on DS and 3DS, and that's about it.
Gameplay.
So gameplay, it's gameplay. Is that a strong word? So,
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a point and click type of gameplay.
Yeah. So there are controls, and okay, let me back it up a little bit, because it's hard to describe in this game, because you really, in the grand scheme of things, don't do a whole lot, right? But there's a lot to do, if that makes any sense at all. So, first off, the game looks great. It looks colorful and bright. Nintendo, once again, their graphics on their mobile games are top-notch, and that's the same thing here. I thought the game looked as good as any Animal Crossing game I've ever played.
Yeah, it definitely has the Nintendo polish to it.
So, you are a villager, as you would be in one of the other games, but you go camping, and it turns out you're running the campsite. You're supposed to be managing it, which is what you would kind of expect.
I think they call you like the camp counselor.
Yeah, so you are tasked with kind of meeting all the different campers on this location. Now, if you've played any Animal Crossing games before, you kind of have this small patch of land that you wander around and pick flowers and shake trees and fish and find seashells, and you just kind of do all these little harvesting things. Here, you have an even smaller patch of land, like very small, but you have several of them. So instead of walking to Tom Nook's place, you would go into the menu and tap to go to the store, or tap to so one of the things in the gameplay is there's tons of missions, right? and just little objectives like catch 5 fish, and then you click it and you get some sort of payout, whether it be bells or some of the other different currencies in this game. And that's
materials.
Yeah, you get materials like wood, because there is a crafting element, which is not something I've seen before in a Animal Crossing game. I haven't played them all, but largely you just go and buy the things you want from the store, where in this you actually have to work towards them. So largely the gameplay is just you tapping on your screen to go to different locations, which I guess you could say about any mobile game, but it felt more tedious here than in other games, because it was just like, you know, when you boot up a mobile game like Chess Rush, and when you first turn it on for the day, you click, oh, here's your reward for logging in, and then, oh, I got to go claim these prizes over here, so you click and claim those prizes, and you take usually a couple minutes just to kind of claim everything for the day, and then you dive into the gameplay. This game is just tapping to click in your stuff for the day. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I would say that's about pretty accurate. But, you know, like you have to go and talk to each animal, but, you know, that's part of the dailies as well. You click on each animal. And once you get far enough in the game, there's an option. You get this like Pelican Pete or whatever the hell his name was, that will actually allow you to send the items that the animals need via mail. And so that like simplifies it even further, where you don't have to go to each area to find said animal to give them whatever item they're looking for. You just need to go to those areas to collect items in the first place.
And a lot of the missions are like fetch quests. Hey, I want this type of seashell, so I got to go find it and come back. And, you know, it's just kind of the bare bones style mission. It has...
Yeah, I mean, it was all pretty much fetch quests, pretty much. So there was very little other than that.
Yeah,
there were some different modes that opened up once you got a little bit higher. What level did you end up getting to, Jeff?
I don't remember. 5 or 6, or I don't know. I honestly didn't pay attention to the level. I think I was higher than that, because I did try to make as many friends as possible, and I concentrated on the friend level. So one of the levels, so Scott's talking about, you do level up, and that affords you more unlocks and things like that. But also your camp mates also have a friendship level of up to 3 hearts, I think, as you can kind of max it out.
You can actually get it up to, I got most of mine, there was some that I had up to 10 hearts. Depends on what items you have available to put at your campsite, because there's specific items that they crave, so to speak. And if you have those items, it'll actually increase your maximum friend level that you could have for those characters. And I got a couple of them that were, their maximum was 10 hearts. I didn't get them that high, but I could have.
Okay.
So I would assume that if you have all the items that they like, it's probably quite a bit higher than what you probably think it is.
I found it hard to come back to the game because there wasn't anything engaging to come back to. So, like I was saying with Chess Rush, once you're done clicking through all your daily earns, there's a really fun game underneath to play. And to be honest, I don't know how much... Because even with Animal Crossing, I wear out. You know, I get the game and I maybe play it for a month. And then I get tired of signing in and pulling weeds and picking berries. And, you know, it's just monotonous. And then there's just some of that charm is missing because you don't really feel like you're part of like a little tiny town like you do in Animal Crossing, because it's so disconnected, because you're tapping to go to individual places to see certain members of the campsite, where in a regular Animal Crossing you'd just be out and about and they'll be doing their own thing. I found it hard to come back to this one.
Yeah, and I can see that happening as well. I did try to pour as much time into this game just so I could give it a fair shake. I think I know I got to at least level 13, but I think I might have made it to level 15 because I unlocked every section of my campground. I could put down 2 tents. I could change the backgrounds and the tree line and all that of my camp.
Oh.
I unlocked, I think, all the mini games that they have within the game because there was there's like a treasure map thing that you can play. There's like a quarry that you can do, but only if you have like certain number of friends. And this was online friends, not the characters that come and visit your campsite, which that's another part that we haven't discussed yet. You have the ability to make online friends, and people can actually go and visit your campsite and look around your campsite and decide to, give you kudos or whatever they want to do or befriend you. If you have I believe it was 5 friends, you had the ability to go into the quarries, which I didn't have 5 friends yet by the time we recorded this, so I didn't get to play the quarry to see what that was exactly. But I did unlock it was like a interior decorating type of mini game that they had where you had to decorate the room specific to the character that the room was for, and they wanted, specific items, and if you had those specific items, you could put those in there, and it would give you a ranking, up to 3, medals, depending on how high the ranking was that you got. And that was one of the mini games, and I think that was about it. So while we were playing, there was a Christmas-themed event that opened up, I want to say on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. And that one allowed you to plant specific type of flowers in your garden. Which, did you open up the garden or even get to the garden?
No, I didn't get to the garden.
Okay, so the garden is to the left of your campsite once you open it up, or once you get to the level that opens that up. And you can plant flowers there. And so this Christmas-themed event is you plant a specific type of flower, and then these butterflies come there, and you're supposed to collect those. And when you collect those, you unlock other things for the event. A lot of the stuff is just, unlock what you can to progress in the game. And that's basically all there is to the gameplay, I would believe.
It's just, it feels like all this, it's a game full of rewards you would get for playing another game. It all feels ancillary. If I were playing, what's another game? Fallout Shelter. And it's little perks and things you'd get for doing well in the game. But instead of that, it's just the whole game. It's just a matter of doing the menial tasks at hand to get the rewards. And without engaging gameplay to get behind it, it's kind of hard for me to want to do it.
Yeah, I agree. There's not really a whole lot of quote-unquote gameplay here. It's just tap and collect, and collect. Walk over here, tap and collect. Plant this, tap and collect. You can be okay, I want to create this item and wait for it. This is a hurry up and wait game too. You make your items and then you wait for them to be done. Sometimes they'll take 30 minutes, sometimes they'll take 5 minutes, sometimes they'll take a whole day, depending on how rare the item is, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So I think maybe we better hop over the paywall.
Paywall.
So you can purchase bells in this game, which is the main currency within a game, and those bells can be used pretty much for everything else. If you don't have enough materials to craft something, use the bells to purchase more materials. If you want something to finish faster, use bells. If you, let's see, if you need, you want to play a certain mini game, use bells.
Well, there was furniture.
If you don't have enough friends to be able to activate it.
Yeah, and decorations.
Yeah, some furniture, the really, really good furniture and decorations, the rarer stuff or the stuff that is specific to an event that they've brought back, you have to purchase with bells.
They do have that green money currency that when you actually pay real money, you buy this green, it looks like a dollar bill with the new leaf on it, and then you can of course convert that.
That's the bells.
I thought the bells were the money sack with the star on it, because that's generally what they are.
Yeah,
in the
but that's
core
what
game.
that goes into. No. So the money sack. Oh wait, you're right. I'm sorry. You're correct. I completely screwed that up. Yes, the bells is the money currency that you can get and earn. The what did they even call that?
I don't
Was the
remember.
Yeah, I think it was like the leaf currency. Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
like a leaf
everything
dollar.
I just said was actually the leaf dollars that you can purchase, not the bells.
Now, this is one of those games though that actually allows you to earn the premium currency through gameplay. And in my
Correct.
playthroughs, it came pretty fast and heavy. I don't know, you played more than me. Did you notice like a slowdown in the frequency of that money coming in?
There was a little bit of slowdown, but what I did notice was as I started to get further in, I actually had to start using that currency. I so when I played, I was trying to specifically craft as much stuff as I could, just so I could raise levels, get certain characters to come to my campsite, do the interior design game because that also like helped, pass the time for what I was doing. So my goal when I was playing this game was to try to craft everything that I could. But I get to this point where like cotton was one of the materials that you needed, and I haven't gotten any more cotton from any other creatures, and I'm having to purchase it with those dollars
Yeah.
to be able to craft most of the stuff. And so it comes to this point where this is a pay to win because of the fact that if you don't have that leaf dollar, I mean, you're going to run out of them pretty quickly. Like, I think when I started using them, I had over 400 of them and dropped it down to under 300 pretty quickly.
I find it funny to call it pay to win because there is no end game here.
No, and there's
And
not.
you're not really
but
competing.
to get, whatever items.
Right. It's kind of funny because we talk about games with microtransactions that are cosmetic. It's like, hey, that's the way you're supposed to do it. But with a game like Animal Crossing, where it's all cosmetic anyway, that I guess I can see why that feels like pay to win, because the goal is for cosmetics. But it doesn't bother me here because you're really not competing against other people. There's still a lot to acquire even without paying for it because there's just a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't find and I found like when I looked at the price of the transactions to be, reasonable, nothing crazy. But if I enjoyed the game, I could see myself playing it without ever putting anything into it.
Replayability.
There is quite a bit of replayability here, again, if you want to play the game.
Right.
I personally was never really a fan of the Animal Crossing series. I don't know if you were, Jeff.
I tried. So, like, I bought New Leaf on the DS, and there were moments when I enjoyed it. I'll be honest, the most fun I had with the game actually was on the original DS. My sister and I shared a copy. And so we actually, on that DS one, you could play multiplayer, kind of. You could, we had one copy of the game, so we both lived in the same house. And when you turned the game on, you picked which character you were going to play. And so my sister would play her character, go out and do her thing. And then I would get the copy from her and I would go out and do my thing. And that was actually kind of fun because I would go down. So we had a 2-story house. So I lived on the top floor and I put all my gear up there and she had all her stuff on the bottom floor. And you'd go downstairs and see all the changes that she made. And I thought that was cool. And she'd come upstairs and you could like customize your wallpaper. And I had like poop wallpaper and I made, Sonic sheets for my bed or whatever. And there's just lots of customizability. So when I had something to play with in that fashion, I enjoyed it. But outside of that, no. Like I got the one on the DS, the 3DS, and played it for a couple weeks and then just like not having a good time. Just kind of bored.
Well, the GameCube version actually had that as well. If you had more than one person playing in the same household,
Yeah.
and you would have that ability to be able to look at their stuff as well. In this version, you kind of have that ability with the multiplayer section where people can visit your camp and check everything out. I mean, if you were to befriend like your normal friends and they play this game as well, then you guys can check each other's campsites out and be like, oh, kudos to you on this and all that. But other than that, I mean, that's the only similarity between the two is that of that part of the game is concerned.
Yeah. And I don't think that's the same. Like sharing the same world and having the same characters and writing a letter to your friend to have them the next time they log in to check it. That was just a more fun experience. We should also mention that the multiplayer in this uses Nintendo's favorite thing ever, friend codes, which are just annoying. But, if you've used Nintendo games before, you're used to it by now.
Yeah, I mean, this game you couldn't even connect to like your social medias. So when we played Mario Kart, you could actually connect to people who were connected to your Twitter. And you could invite them to play with you, or not play with you, but you could befriend them via your social medias, where this does not have that. But I think it's because this game is so much older than the Mario Kart game was. Mario Kart came out this year, whereas this came out 2 years ago. So that functionality, I don't believe they decided to even put in this game.
Yeah. Well, and I think like Animal Crossing should work on mobile, but I don't understand why they couldn't make it more like a regular Animal Crossing game where you have a full level like world to explore. I mean, it's a small world even in mainstream Animal Crossing games, but this just didn't even do that. And I would think that you'd be able to make that happen, but I don't know. I'm not a developer, but I've seen some pretty impressive games on a phone, and I would think that they could make that happen.
Judgment.
All right, so at the end of each episode, we decide if the game deserves our seal, which is our general thumbs up or thumbs down. It needs a 2/3 vote to be approved. Elliot did email me his commentary on this so that we have his vote on the seal. Jeff, what do you give this?
This is a no. We did get a commentary that I'll talk about afterwards. But the sentiment I agree with is that there are other Animal Crossing games this is an Animal Crossing. I've never played these tapper games, I guess. I've heard of these things where you just download it and just tap, and then I guess you get money. I don't know. I might be old manning that and don't know for certain, but you just tap around. I don't like this game.
This game, I'm like I said, I'm not really big on the Animal Crossing genre. I never was like big into any of these types of games. This is like, isn't this the same genre that what was that game you reviewed on Neo Retro?
Stardew?
Yeah, Stardew.
No.
It's within the same realm as that, right?
No. So Stardew is more of a farming simulator where you're planting and harvesting, and there's actually a point to what you're doing. Where even core Animal Crossing, there's really not a point. I mean, your point is to live in the area, and there are objectives if you want to do them, but you certainly don't have to. Whereas like Stardew Valley is more of, you're supposed to build your farm up. The objective's a little more clear.
Well, I mean, the objective in this is to build your campsite up.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Invite more animals over there.
Yeah.
And to build, as much stuff as you can. That's pretty much what the objective of this game is to build. To continually build.
Stardew Valley's actually good.
Yeah, well, this one's, I'll be honest, this one probably held my interest a little bit more than some of the games we played, just to give it, a fair chance. It's not my genre, but I'm going to say I'm going to recommend this. I'm going to give it my seal just because there's something there that I think people would like if they're into this sort of game, but it's just not for me, but I'm going to give it my seal. So we've got a yes and a no. So Elliot did give us his side of it. We're going to put that recording in now.
So I've played a handful of Animal Crossing games in my time. The one on the 3DS, I think New Leaf, is probably the one I've spent the most time playing. Overall, I enjoy the series. And so with this, I feel like Pocket Camp is kind of a so-so Animal Crossing game. I think it's an above average phone game, but not necessarily a great Animal Crossing game. Overall, I really like the structure, like the zones, like the fishing zone, the gathering zone, that kind of stuff. I liked that. I like the long-term and short-term goals. They all seem really attainable. If you spent time playing the game, you could get to. Things that I didn't like were the always online connection requirement. For an Animal Crossing game, that just seems a little overkill to me. I thought some of the load times were a little kind of wonky overall, a little excessive. I didn't hate this game, but I'm not going to give it my seal. And the reason I'm not giving it my seal is kind of simple. I have no interest in playing this game after this week. So there you go.
Well, it looks like this game is not Budget Arcade approved. Elliot nixed that pretty quickly. So we do have a listener commentary. Jeff, you want to throw that out there for us?
I knew Elliot was a smart person.
Well, some days.
Of course, and I actually, this commentary comes from Jesse the Jet. You can be like Jesse and give us your commentary on our Discord server, which we'll talk about here at the end of the show. But I also warned Jesse up front that I tend to butcher these. So here we go. Long-time listener, first-time caller. So I was excited to hear the next game was Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. When it first came out, I played regularly and even got a few coworkers into it too. At the time I thought, I wish there was a little more to do. And they added a little more. Then a lot more. With the lot more came the so many Nintendo chores to do on my phone sentiment. I haven't played in a while and logged in again a few times now this week. There's a little too much monetization now. Can't keep up with the to-do list every day. I will credit Animal Crossing Pocket Camp for getting me back into New Leaf while I wait for New Horizon. I follow the Pocket Camp subreddit and highly recommend. It's amazing to see the great campsite cabin and camper setups people share, as well as discuss the new subscription thing. Overall, when there are so many good Animal Crossing iterations out there, it's hard to recommend Pocket Camps too strongly. If you have either the time or the cash to advance your campsite, it can't hurt to try it out and play until you feel like you're all done with it. Thanks, Jesse. I agree completely. Now, I think you probably had a little more fun with the game than me, but it's that to-do list when you log into the game is quite intimidating. And since the to-do list isn't fun, like you've played an RPG before where you get like all the side quests, but those side quests a lot of times are fun and that makes you want to go do them, but these aren't fun for me.
Next week we will be playing Might and Magic Heroes Heirs of Chaos.
I already downloaded it because I actually had pre-registered for it because it looked kind of interesting, so we'll see.
Yeah, I pre-registered as well, and as soon as it came out, I played a few days worth of it, but we'll get to that next week.
Yeah, we'll save that.
Thank you for joining us. Wherever you listen to us, we ask that you leave us a favorable review. Also, make sure that you subscribe wherever you listen. That way you never miss an episode.
You can follow us on our social medias. That's facebook.com/budgetarcade, on Twitter and Instagram @budgetarcade. We also have a website, www.budgetarcade.com. Elliot and I also have other podcasts you can listen to, like Every Comedy Ever or Tess and Elliot Argue. And I think there might be another one coming soon from one of us soon, if they want to talk about it.
And you can join our Discord to leave any of your commentaries for us through our website or as well through our Twitter. You can send any hate mail to show@budgetarcade.com. Music is provided by Stimage, and you can download his music at metroidmetal.com. Thank you for joining us again, and game on.